It's the Underpowered Hour. On this week's show, stolen Land Rovers found in the back of a van, another special edition yacht defender, Land Rovers in the movies, and a famous Land Rover owner of the week. And now, without further delay, here's the show. Welcome to the Underpowered Hour. I'm Steve Beres, mild-mannered television executive by day and Land Rover collector by night. You can find out more about our cars and what we're working on at theberescollection.com or follow us on Instagram at theberescollection. I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Goss.
Thank you to everyone joining us today. I'm the static seat track to Steven's 8-way power seats. I am the cramped leg of podcasting, Goss. I own and operate Pangolin 4x4 in Springfield, Oregon, where we live and breathe Land Rovers. Check us out online on Facebook, Instagram at Pangolin 4x4. Let's get started.
All right, Ike. Well, this week in the news, good news, actually, I think, out of England, some of those stolen Land Rovers have turned up. So Great news for those owners that all is not lost. Their Land Rovers have been found. Just one issue.
One small issue. There's a little bit of reassembling to do upon the pickup of your vehicle.
That's exactly right.
So when you go to pick up your stolen Land Rover, you might have to visit more than one place to get all of the pieces. Yes, a van has been stopped. And inside this van is an entire disassembled Defender.
Yeah.
It has it's pretty
thorough
digested to its very smallest components.
It's true, yeah.
Great shot of the back of this van that the police have opened, and inside is an entire Land Rover
Just, all of its
in kit form.
It's a complete knockdown. In fact, the first thing I thought when I saw it was, I wonder if Rob and Alex, our friends at the CKD shop, had anything to do with this theft, because only those two could so thoroughly pack a Land Rover into such a small space.
I feel like A, they're not interested in Defenders. And
that's exactly right. It was far too new. And
B, their packing is much better than what
That's right, exactly. Yeah. If only that's what would happen if they used their powers for evil, though. I think, that's right. Thankfully, they're on our side. They're on the side of good.
If you're looking for your Land Rover, perhaps you should check out this BBC article about this one in the back of a transit van.
It is pretty fun to look at the photos, I have to say. It's just fun to spot the parts you recognize, because holy moly. I mean, just the sheer weight of some of these components, the entire engine, all this stuff just literally yeeted into the back of this thing. There's a seat belt just laying over the engine, all kinds of suspension parts leaned up against the exhaust. And it's just really thoroughly jammed into the back of that van. Some door panels sitting on top. I mean, it really is. It's a great,
the chassis on top of the drivetrain. There's an axle there at the left-hand side. There's a lot going on.
Looks like
it's like a Where's Waldo.
It is. It is. It's a great coffee table book, with your friends. The friends come over for dinner or something, and you can try to put that Land Rover back together, from the photos. This would be a good puzzle, actually.
I was just thinking that it'd be a good puzzle if that was a well-lit photograph. You could make a good puzzle out of that.
Yeah, you could kind of how does this thing go back together? But so there you go. I mean, it's one Land Rover found. I mean, admittedly, well, it might be one Land. Who knows? There might be two in there. I don't know. It's hard to tell. There may be 0.5. There may be 3. I don't know. It's hard to say.
We can also safely assume that this is not their first attempt at doing this, right? This is probably other Land Rovers have been inside of this van and not been found, right?
No, I mean, you think about it, Jeffrey Dahmer, the first time out, didn't get it perfect.
He didn't get caught till 17 or 18, somewhere in there?
Exactly. Yeah, these guys, this is their first rodeo. They've been through this before. So there you go. Well, if you're in the UK, beware of large panel vans and gentlemen in the front seats eyeing your Defender with a Sawzall and a couple of crescent wrenches. They may be after it later that evening. So, this takes strapping your catalytic converters down better to a whole new level. I mean, what do you do here? Like,
I had the catalyst stolen off of both of my Defenders.
really?
And it was disheartening.
Yeah.
It was disheartening. And I had a customer message me the other day about a series car, and his Discovery had been targeted for catalyst theft no fewer than 4 times. He said the catalyst had been stolen off his Discovery for the 4th time, and he was fed up. He was getting rid of it, and he was only going to drive his series cars.
Well, that's the thing. You don't have to worry about it on a series vehicle. You just,
After 4 times, I don't blame him.
Yeah, you just got to straight pipe that guy, I guess. At some point, maybe that's the solution. I don't know.
Yeah. So if you live in Los Angeles, beware.
Yeah, you got to barbed wire up your catalytic converter, I guess. Yeah.
They'll steal them at stoplights.
Oh, I know. Just get under there it's like a NASCAR pit crew. Just roll under there, saws all that thing off, and they're gone.
Gone. It's gone.
It's amazing.
It's on the black market.
It's amazing. Well, speaking of on the black market, there is a whole new trend in low emissions Land Rovers, not just removing the catalytic converter, but removing the entire internal combustion engine altogether. And it is from a yacht preparer, and it is a Land Rover Defender, but it's converted to an emissions-free tender excursion. And I don't think they mean like chicken tenders. I think they mean like it is too bad. And I don't think they mean like tender bits, like like warm and tender. I think they mean like something that, do you keep this on your mega yacht and then you tender it off onto the shore?
That is the intention. Yeah. Yes. This company Everati, which also makes a fabulous line of sparkling waters. Everati has made this thing in search of yet wealthier clients.
That's right.
And so they've made this, they call it a tender, which is kind of like a dinghy that you might tender a larger ship with.
Yeah, it's a dinghy.
And it's a Land Rover Defender. They've converted to electric power. Yeah. And this is in an effort to make and create a sustainable vehicle with which you can tender your large mega yacht.
That's right.
To offset the thousands of gallons of diesel fuel that you're burning every hour in your mega yacht while you're surrounded by only the rarest of South American hardwoods.
That's exactly right. Yes, and rare furniture made out of rare bird skins and things and all of that. But don't worry, the Defender 100% electric.
Sustainable.
Yeah, totally sustainable. And this one it's interesting. It has some interesting features that you wouldn't find on a normal Defender. I'm not exactly sure what the deal with the roof rack is, but it looks like it has sort of like an upside down IKEA, picnic table on the roof as its sort of roof rack with a tire in it. It has an almost Tomb Raider-esque roll cage around the outside of it. It has weird little see-through doors with little crosses on them.
It has doors.
Yeah, it does have doors.
Yeah, but some of the door has been removed. In fact, looking at it more closely, there's the hip or the body roll in a series or classic Defender.
Yes, that's
everything above that body roll has been removed.
That's right. It's
so gone. That like next 3 or 4 inches, whatever, where it comes up to the belt line, that's gone.
Just gone.
And then there is a hole in the door.
Just a giant hole in the door, and it's cross braced with aircraft cable. I guess is that to kind of make it more yachty to the aircraft cable? I guess maybe.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't feel like it's structural. I mean, I guess something has to hold that door together because there's literally nothing left of it. But they do that. They also have really wide arches because the tires are a little bit wider. It appears. I think it's all a rendering. I don't think any of this is actually real, but it's got really wide wheel arches, and it's got, super suspension race seats, and it's got a chrome bumper, and it's got a specialty hood box. And on this hood box, it is equipped with 2 bottles of Dom Perignon champagne and 3 wine glasses, which is an interesting choice, and a little thing for plates, and I assume some lunch in a little bag arrangement there. There's a place for your lunch in this specially, sort of equipped area in the middle of the hood.
It's got a picnic basket.
It's a picnic basket.
It's got a picnic basket in the hood. Yeah, it's a built-in picnic basket.
That's right.
And it's got
the reason, I guess, is because the load space is taken up by a giant Caspin winch.
That's probably its most interesting feature, that it has a capstan winch in the very center of the load space. Yeah. And there's a hole in the rear door, so you don't have to open the door to do your capstan winching.
No.
And the door itself is kind of the fair lead for the winch.
That's right.
It's pretty fascinating concept. Looks like it also has a stainless steel sort of roll cagey thing.
It's interesting. I mean, I would think, you would want to put items and maybe passengers in the back of your Defender if it is to be tendered. But I guess in this case, no. You have this capstan winch back there, and I guess no. Not sure exactly what the point is. That to get it back on the yacht? Like,
hard to say. It does have it. Maybe it's to pull your yacht to the.
Oh, you can actually tow your yacht in with it. Ooh.
Yeah, and if you notice on the side of the vehicle, they've continued this nautical theme, and they have the little rope anchors or rope cleats on the side instead of the like soft top cleats that you would have on a standard vehicle. There are seats in the back, so you could carry passengers, but their feet would be tangled around this winch line, capstan winch situation.
It looks like the dead end of the rope goes into the cubby box somehow. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but
it has another winch in the bottom of the cubby box to pull on that slack. Pull on that end. Yeah, totally. Yeah. And they just work in combination. It's, for I guess, what do we call these? Vaporware vehicle?
Yes, it's a vapor vehicle.
Yeah, I'd say it's, they put a lot of thought into continuing this nautical theme. They were like, what would someone that wore boat shoes all the time drive?
I mean, don't own a different pair of shoes. This is all they have.
Anyway, it's fun to look at.
It's been several straight weeks of nautical themed Defenders. This one I don't believe is painted with the speckle paint that is also used on telephone boxes and backhoes like the other one was, but like the hardship one. But this one is, this is interesting.
It is. I think it's actually worth checking out.
Yeah.
If you have a mega yacht and you're looking for a vehicle to put on the deck of your mega yacht, maybe it's a good solution for your.
There's a mega solution for your
solution.
Winching your. So if you buy it, then they're going to have to figure out how to build one of these things. So good luck to them. Good luck to them on that. Well,
you have special editions.
Speaking of special editions, exactly.
Land Rover has released a new special edition Range Rover Sport, I'm told. And I don't know if you've seen this, but it's skiing themed.
Oh, okay.
Edition, the Park City edition Range Rover Sport. And they will only make 7 examples of this.
Okay.
It has 543 horsepower and 590 foot-pounds of torque. Whoa. And it has the turbocharged inline 6.
Okay. Yeah.
And it can be yours for $169,000.
Well, that's not terrible, I mean, so far as special editions go.
That's less than the average lift ticket at a premier resort.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And for that price, will they allow you to drive it down the ski hill?
It says here that you can do that. It comes with a lift ticket. They have a special lift that brings the vehicle to the top of the hill, and you can drive it down the ski hill.
Also, but you have to attach that lift ticket to the car, like that thing through its zipper.
Tag on the grill.
Hang on it. Yeah, you have to tag the grill. Yeah.
It also has 23-inch wheels. Do you know what tires are available for 23-inch wheels?
No, there are none. There just aren't any tires available. Oh boy, at some point there is going to be just a strip of like gasket material wrapped around a hard magnesium wheel. There isn't going to be any tire left. I've heard that the larger the wheel and the thinner the profile of the tire, the better the vehicle does in snowy, slippery conditions. Is that true? Absolutely, yes. Yeah, that's true. The less rubber you have on a tire, the better performance, just all the way around, I think, is what you want. Yeah. All right. No, that's definitely.
And those are bespoke satin forged carbon fiber garnish.
Of course.
Wheels.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
So that could be yours for the low price of $169,000.
It's worth it, I think. Can you really put a price on a specialty ski themed super limited edition Range Rover Sports? I don't think so.
It also includes specific tread plates, deployable side steps, an SV bespoke duotone ebony and light cloud suede cloth headliner, light cloth and ebony semi-aniline perforated leather seats, and a light cloud ebony trim piece for the sumptuous interior. And the finishing touch is the wheels, the 23-inch wheels.
Comments there. One, sumptuous. I don't think you can ever go wrong describing the interior of a vehicle as sumptuous. Secondly, essentially, are they not saying it is ebony and ivory living in perfect harmony inside of that car? Also,
a note to our listeners, be very careful when you're Googling these specifications, especially semi-aniline in your spelling there. You may get some results that you would not like to see.
That's exactly right. Yes. You got to make sure you're rock solid on that spelling.
That's ANILINE.
Right.
For those listening at home. So
very important. Yeah.
If you want to look up those seats, aniline.
You want you got to get that just right. You got to thread that needle on that Google search. Let me tell you that. Well, speaking of threading that needle, something we forgot to discuss in the prep, but this past week was the first week of the Defender Rally Championship in the ye old England.
I didn't know that.
It was, and
what type of vehicle
racing
was winning?
It's actually the Range Rover Sport. No, it was it was a strangely named event. No, it is all the brand new Bowler outfitted Land Rover Defender 90, the brand new, don't call it Land Rover Defender 90. And it is Bowlerized in the most fantastic way. And that was really cool. There is some footage on Bowler's YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and you search Bowler Racing or Bowler Challenge or Defender Rally Championship or Defender Rally Series, you'll get the first stage. It's about a 4-minute long video. Lots of great footage of the Bowler cars rolling around in the mud. And man, it would look super muddy. There we're spraying mud all over everything, but those cars look super cool and look to perform really, really well. They were going very quick through that mud. One team broke a wheel, an actual wheel, into pieces. And the team there put the thing back together.
They should have put some braid wheels on that thing.
Put the braid wheels on there. They've got Bowler wheels on there. Should put braid wheels on there. You wouldn't have that problem. With braid. Nope, they don't break. They also have that crazy Goodyear tire on there. They really love that Goodyear tire. I don't know.
They got some leftovers.
They all have patches in them, but they're, But yeah, if you head over to the Bowler YouTube channel, man, it's super cool. Really, really cool. A little bit of interaction with the teams and see the scores and stuff like that. They're going to be posting that up throughout the year as those cars progress. But super cool, man. I want to fly over there and I'm race it.
Continually impressed with the longevity of the Bowler platform. Such a niche thing. A racing Land Rover for this one particular series. It just seems very but it has been. They've been doing that since I was a kid.
Absolutely. Oh, for sure. Yeah. There is. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's generations of Bowler Challenge cars. They had those 130 trucks for a little while. They had the old 90s. They had 110. They had all kinds of stuff. And these new generation cars, I have to say, they really look cool and they certainly perform. I mean, they really haul ass. I mean, they're certainly quicker than the old cars.
How would we be able to tell how they perform against, let's say, other types of race and rally cars?
Good point. The only way to tell is to get one and race it against other types of rally cars. I think
we should probably do that. I wonder how much it would cost to put one of those in the Dakar. Probably more than we could stomach.
I don't know. Would they allow it in the Dakar?
I don't know.
I mean, probably, right? It's street legal in the UK.
And I don't know that it has to be street legal.
Yeah,
they have those super racing Pajeros and all those crazy race trucks.
Yeah, I mean, you could race in that, but I mean, realistically, I don't know how we're going to do in that class. But if you could get a street legal one and race it in the street class, we might actually be able to compete there. And it'd be all right, it might be all right. That might be all right.
We'll have to look into that.
Try to get one over.
Speaking of marks with long pedigrees that may not be long for this world, Jaguar. What's happening with Jaguar?
They're taking a nap.
They're taking a nap. I've heard they're closing a lot of dealers, maybe all of the dealers.
Well, I mean, when you don't have any cars really to sell and you're not planning on making any new cars now, I don't really know because it was going to be an all electric brand. And as we
Yes.
talked about last week, the entire industry is kind of pumping the brakes on electric. Maybe
Yes.
not the best time to be releasing an all electric, very expensive kind of supercar, which is what they wanted to do, right? They want to compete with Bentley, they want to compete with Maserati, very high-end passenger luxury sedans and high performance cars. It feels like it's a rough market right now for an all-electric brand relaunch. I don't know.
If you spent millions of dollars to upgrade your Jaguar dealership within the last 2 years, you're probably a little peeved.
I imagine
Probably a
so.
little peeved.
I think there's going to be some bad feelings there.
It's going to be
Now
some
I
bad
know that
feelings.
one of the initiatives when they talked about this Jaguar thing was that they were going to collapse it down to only a few Jaguar dealers across the United States, only in major centers, just like Bentley, like they were going to only have maybe, a dozen of them across the country. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's going to breed great feelings amongst the dealer chain. And we'll have to see. We'll have to see if the cars are amazing. Maybe they'll come around. But if
Initially,
Jer Bear
they
is
said-
designing them, I don't know.
Initially, they said, "Oh, look, don't worry, we have enough inventory to cover the
Right.
span of time from, when we're ceasing production to
That's right.
the startup of the new cars." But now it's looking a little dicey.
It's
looking a
looking a
little
little dicey. Also, everybody's like, wow, this car is from 2021. I don't know if I want it. Just because they have it. They made the last F-Type 8 or 9 months ago now. And so, it's a long time to wait for a new car, another year and a half potentially.
You know what
before a
they
new
should
one.
do?
A
They
long
should
time.
just, go the Cybertruck route and come out with some
Just announce
crazy thing and just say, "Hey, we're doing this crazy
Coming.
thing."
Just wait.
It's
Any day now. Yep.
And then it's coming, and then we're gonna put it back, and it seems
Yeah.
it's a
And they buy themselves
successful
5 to 10 years. Yeah.
5 to 10 years.
Just go for it. Yeah. I think that's the strategy now with a lot of car makers. It wasn't just Cybertruck. It was F-150 electric. It's all these cars. Even the Rivian R3X 27, maybe, hopefully 27, but maybe later. We don't know.
I like the
I
look of
want it.
those. Though.
I want
I like
one
the
right
look of
now.
those. Those
I
are
want
pretty
one
cool.
so bad. I want it so
Our
bad.
friend Rivian heard our discussion of the Rivian
Oh.
episode, and he was like, "I'm glad you guys are talking about that. Maybe we could get us a vehicle to try out."
Oh, I would like that very much.
Yeah, we should do that.
All
We
I'm
should ask
saying is I just want to Dukes of Hazzard that thing over a drainage ditch once. That's
I
all.
just want to weld the doors closed. That's all
That's
I
all I
want.
want to do. Just slide across the hood. That's all I want to do. Come on. Come on, Rivian. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid
Well,
of?
speaking of things that we haven't seen for a while, I understand there is a Land Rovers in the movies
That's right.
segment for today.
There is. It is true. We have veered away from some of the classic Underpowered Hour segments, things that brought people to the show or permanently alienated them, whatever. And we are striving. We have the research department, the Ministry of Research, if you will, working around the clock to find some of these new segments for us. So we're happy to bring back 2 of them today. The first being Land Rovers in the movies. This is a series on the Red Menace, Netflix, by the extremely talented Guy Ritchie, a mobster, of course, piece called Gentleman, which I have not had an opportunity to enjoy, but you, Ike, and the Pacific Northwestern crew have been enjoying it. So
Yep.
What are your thoughts and what are we talking so far as Land Rover based content? I hear it's pretty chock-a-block full.
It is, the general premise is a person inherits their father's royal estate. He's a duke, and the entire family drives Land Rovers. So everyone from top to bottom in the show drive Land Rovers, pretty much. So they all have Range Rovers, Range Rover Sports, or new Defenders. And in addition to those vehicles, some of the characters, notably the Gamekeeper character, drives a classic Defender. So there's quite a bit. There's quite a bit of Land Rover content to the point which one of the characters' middle name is actually Land Rover, and it's the patriarch of the family, and you gotta be paying attention because if you blink, you'll miss it. But at his remembrance service at his funeral,
Yep.
if you look at the guy's full name, it's Archibald Horatio Land Rover Horniman. So
Amazing.
they clearly knew what they were doing. So this show
Feels
is it's actually pretty good if you like Guy Ritchie British gangster movies. And who doesn't? It's a pretty good one. So check it out if you like those things and you like Land Rovers. It's worth a watch.
Definitely feels like there is more than just a cursory interest in Land Rovers happening on that show. It feels like
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Feels like there's some product tie-in, but probably a little bit more than that. Because
I think there's like 8
Land Rovers
episodes and there's at least 5 minutes of Land Rovers driving around in every episode. So check it out.
Sounds great. It's worth watching. And I'll I have Netflix. I don't like that I have Netflix, but I do have it, and I'll have to dial that up.
Yeah, check it out.
Speaking of things that I don't like, so as you, I'm sure, are aware, Ike, Formula One is in full swing. We're waiting for next weekend's Australia Grand Prix, as we've had the first 2 races of the season. And of course, none other than Red Bull Racing has, of course, won the first 2 races. And that brings about our famous Land Rover Owner of the Week, a segment that has been missing for
Blast from the past.
So long. And it is everyone's third favorite segment. So we are bringing it back for a special engagement for one such individual who is definitely a famous Land Rover owner and is in a little bit of trouble right now. And that is, of course, team principal and CEO of Red Bull Racing, Christian Horner himself. He is the proud owner of an 80-inch Land Rover that has been painstakingly restored. I'm not sure if it isn't a reborn even. We'll have to ask Mike Bishop, but it very well could be. It's a very nicely acquainted 80-inch. It looks really good and actually was featured in, if you watch the Drive to Survive series on Netflix, again, the Red Menace, they feature it in one of the recent episodes as Christian has some people over to his estate to do fancy estate things. And he and his wife, Jerry Halliwell, of course, the Spice Girl, they drive up in his 80-inch, but he also has a number of classic Defenders. He has a number of different Range Rovers. He also has an Aston Martin DB5, which is super cool. I think it's actually an original DB5 too. I don't think it's a recreation one. I think it's original DB5. It's a very nice car. And he has a Willys Jeep. He is a Willys Jeep he really likes.
Those are cool. Those are cool. I admit it.
I want a Willys Jeep too. So yeah.
So I noticed that you said that there was some drama around this gentleman. There's some situation where there's investigations and there's impropriety potentially, and there's allegedly this and according to this person that, and so it brings me to my theory that no one watches F1 racing for the racing. They watch it for all of these dramas between the various drivers and owners and
that's exactly right.
chiefs and so on. And from an outsider's perspective, I feel like it's kind of like pro wrestling in that regard.
It is exactly like pro wrestling. And I'm not even sure that it is. Look, there's Linus in the background, that guy. It's almost that time for Pacific Northwest dinner time, which is my favorite time up there in the Eugene, Springfield area where everybody goes for dinner together. It's really adorable. Really adorable. It is true. I enjoy it immensely. I miss that. But yeah, it is. It's a soap opera where, there's intrigue and, the drivers are on one side of this and Christian and the investors are on the other side. And we don't know who'll win. And somebody will likely get fired before this next week's Australian Grand Prix. So I can't wait.
I think it's all scripted. It's exactly like pro wrestling.
It's pro wrestling, yeah. That guy with the urn, Paul Bear, he's going to show up and start, this is like, it's going to be, the lovely Christine will be there. It's going to be amazing.
I don't follow it very closely and I don't know all the people, but there's a Max person and there's Max a Lewis Verstappen person.
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton. And they're always,
they're right at each other. Yeah. There's a very close rivalry. And Max Verstappen's dad is always there and makes a ton of trouble. He's always like,
this cannot so help but be scripted.
I know, it's so weird, and it's pretty great. It is great to watch. It's a great sport, great automotive sport, great engineering. but the drama that goes on with all of these teams. And they're all, every time somebody does something, everybody cries about, it's like soccer. Everybody is like, oh my God, you broke all the rules. Oh, it's not fair. But they would do the same thing in a heartbeat if they had the opportunity to do so. So it is very funny. It's very catchy.
That reminds me of a cheating scandal that I recently saw in a different racing series. I think it was NASCAR or in one of the NASCAR spinoffs or something. And the driver had, and I'm not making this up, a special driving glove that he was wearing, and he was found to be cheating because the glove was webbed, and he was sticking his hand out the window to make it turn slightly, have more wind resistance on one side of the car than the other. And they were having a meeting where the governing body was sanctioning the team or whatever, and he was holding up this webbed glove. And I just thought it was the most ridiculous way of cheating in this $1 million race car, just to have a webbed glove that you stuck out the window. It's great.
That's great. No, that is great. I like it. Yeah. At any rate, if you haven't been over to the old YouTube channel, the 80-inch steering box retrofit is up there. So
it's getting a lot of good traction. I've been seeing a lot of comments about that video, so it's a pretty good one. Check it out.
It's good. We're not quite done there. We're still working on it. We're probably going to do the relay next and some other things there. We've got, of course, the forward control is next up on the list, so that's going to be a fun one.
Oh, yeah. Next episode, look for a good workshop update, because we've been busy in the workshop building some cars, so we'll have a great episode for you on that next week. Same time, same place. Don't miss it.
Don't miss it. And with that, we'll see you next week. Have a great weekend and enjoy that communal dinner with the rest of the team, and give Linus my best.
All right. Happy trails, Stephen. Take care.
The Underpowered Hour is produced by Liza Beres, Ike Goss, and me, Steve Beres. Pavel Svardov composed and performed our theme music. Consider supporting the show on Patreon, and if you already do, thank you. Your support makes the show possible. For even more, check out our Instagram or Facebook.